This everyday adventure spread was designed for any old outing, mountains, leaves, or matchy-matchy, but my photos are from a fun family day by the lake. Real girls, real moments. So the question is, can I make this generic kit work for our real family story? I'm going to write what the photos show, 1 through 5, and then I'm going to have a go at stamping a number onto each photo so that you can see which one it applies to. I might try and do that one in a white. I'm going to have a go at using the Stampin Positioner again to make sure that we get a good impression. I'm thinking this one actually we can probably just stamp onto there, which I've got a new set of small stamps after last week's wonky wooden block incident, and they've actually got numbers on, so we need right, so let's get a teeny tiny block. So Deck Vibes is number 3, so let's have a go at doing number 3, stamping on these cardboard photo mats that are going to be hidden by the photos, just so I can be sure the stamp is stamping nicely. That looks all right. Get the angle right. Yeah, that will do. So when I first used the positioner last week, I used the big plate, this one. But for these tiny numbers, I don't think I need the big plate. So I thought I would investigate using this small plate. So it has the same holes here that attach on that one, but instead you can position it onto these. It's all the way along and just get it in the exact position that you need. So I'm probably going to end up doing it on that one. And then this one has all 4 feet, or squishy feet, and they go down. This fishing of the frisbee is number 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that number 2, which I have seasoned on my arm, here into this space in the corner of the photo. Try and get it straight aligned with the photo itself. So I'm just going to pick up our number 2. Because it's really small, got to be careful not to press it too hard. So I've got the archival ink here, which is supposed to be good for stamping on photos. I haven't always had entirely reliable experience with it, but I haven't tried to do it using a positioner before. So I'm hoping this is going to solve any issues that I might have had. Now, is that on the pegs? There we go, we're on now. Okay, so we're going to press down, not press too hard, leave it for a few seconds, then carefully pick it back up and hope the photo doesn't come with it. Actually, might try just putting this magnet a bit closer to try and hold the bit that we need to stay still. So press down, hold it for a few seconds, and then we'll let it pop back up. Take it off and see how we've done. That's not too bad. You can see the ink has squished a little bit, so I probably did press it slightly too hard. That's where we are now. That will take a little while to dry. I've stuck the photos down with the numbers on, and then because I wanted to make sure that this layout looked different from the previous layout, I wanted to bring in something that was different from just the sprigs and leaves. So because Sky and me were having a go on the paddle boards, I thought it might be fun to include some paddleboard equipment, and I've used this pink to pick out the colours in my top I was wearing there, and I'm thinking we'll be able to kind of have pink here, and then the pink in the photo. Hopefully we'll balance enough. If not, we can maybe put a flower or something in here. And then I wanted to use some of this blue and some more of these vibrant greens. So I've made this paddle board. What I'm thinking is I'd like this to go here, but I'm going to have to attempt to lift up this leaf, and I don't know how well it's going to go, but this leaf looks like it's actually just cut from this paper. You can see the brush strokes. So worst case scenario, I will cut some more leaves. They won't be exactly the same as that, but I have a couple of decent sized ones that can just go on instead if we need to. So what I was thinking is I want to do a cluster up here and use this pink, because I don't know if you remember, but I talked about this is a little bit like trapped space here. And I was originally thinking I might put some boot prints like they were walking, but when you look at the pictures, we were not walking. There was a lot of outside games, but also a lot of real relaxation. And that's actually what I'm going to put in the journaling about my cousin. She had a list of lake house rules, which were things like relax, sleep in, play games, go in the water, read a book, which she spent herself quite a lot of time doing. So I'm going to put something to that effect on there. And then I want the embellishments to kind of reflect what we were doing. But it was good to see the kids playing, because with their cousin, they were all quite screen addicts. So it was nice to get them outside doing something different. I've got these two paddles, which I've made. I made all of these on my silhouette. And I've brought the crumb cake in because I feel like, oh no, actually it wasn't crumb cake. I was going to use crumb cake, and then in the end I went for pecan pie to match that one. So we're going to put these here somehow, but that's going to be the pink there, and that, and then I'm going to put this paddleboard in here somehow. So I think the first thing I want to do is I'm going to use this end of my pickup tool, because this is thinner than this blade that I commonly use, and being that I know that there's a high chance this was glued down with glue, it's going to be trickier to get it up than if it had been done with tape runner. So we'll see how we go. Try not to rip the base paper as well. Let's see where we are, because this is free, so we could also go under here. Yeah, something like that, I think, is what I was thinking. And I think we'll be able to patch that back together fairly well. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down with tape runner, so then if I want to end up tucking some extra bits in, I can, because I'll just tape runner kind of down the middle and leave the edges a bit spare, and then we can always add some glue underneath if we need to. And then we need to stick this one down first so we can cover up that little tear. Okay, pleased with that. And then kind of occurring to me that it might be nice to have part of a circle here to be the base for this life jacket, because we've got two circles here, and although that technically is a little circle, I think we could stand to have something a little bit bigger. And then similarly, we need to figure out how we're going to bring these oars in. I think they need something else as well as the oars. I said I was going to do a circle, but then I decided I didn't like the circle. So what I've done is I have made a little tag that I'm going to pop in here. Managed to lift up the bottom of that Y so it can go under there. And then I'm going to put the life jacket on the top, kind of overlapping here with this little space. And then I made some flowers and some bits of pondweed, or lakeweed, I guess probably is the correct term. I had a mini surfboard from a Stampin Up set that was called Beach Days, I think. So I think I'm going to pop this in here with these oars. And I know the scale's not quite right, but I think it just gives us that bit more, something more solid as a background. I haven't quite worked out how it's going to go yet. But over here, I want to put in this pondweed, and probably maybe this bit coming in over the top like that. Obviously I'll cut that down, so I think that looks good. Or yeah, I think probably it goes in front, doesn't it? I cut another piece of pondweed out, which I was thinking might also somehow be part of this cluster. Maybe the surfboard goes on top of it. Not entirely sure yet. I cut one more piece of this pondweed, which I didn't know if we might want to pop in down here. I think it's just that having landing spots is the challenge that we're dealing with. Maybe it goes in behind there. That actually might look quite cute. Yeah, we'll possibly have that in there somehow. And then I decided I did want a bit more pink up here, so I'm going to make these flowers into, like, wrap them around so like that, and then we'll put some sort of embellishment in the middle. So we're going to have one up here, and then I thought maybe we put one down here as well, because this, while it is pink, it's not very much of the pink, so it could go down here and then something could go in behind it, or maybe we can use this here to kind of, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with that, but I also cut 3 little leaves to go behind the flowers, so I thought this one needed just a little bit more, fill up this space up here, so maybe we'll have 2 there with that on the top, and then we've got one more big leaf that can go somewhere with wherever we put this flower. Thinking it's possibly going to be going here actually. And do we put the pondweed behind? No, I liked that up there. We'll find a way to fit this in here. Maybe the surfboard's on top of it, and then we've just got this one to do. Maybe something more like that, but I'm going to go ahead with these ones up here because I'm happy with these, and then we can fiddle more with the bottom. So let's make the flowers first. Let's give them a little bit of dimension, not too much because obviously they'll be in the album. Put some glue in the middle, and then this you're just trying to obviously kind of do the opposite, so you're filling in all the gaps. And I'm thinking I might actually put the flowers up on a dimensional, and then we can maybe use that to attach the leaves as well on the bottom. So I'm going to put a bit of glue there because I do like these leaves when they overlap each other like that, and then we pop that like that, and then we can put a dimensional in the middle and hopefully catch all 3 pieces. And we just need to decide. I was kind of thinking have it going up towards the corner. Yeah, so something like that. It's quite nice overlapping the photo a little bit as well. I feel like maybe this bright blue. So I don't want to cut this because it'll all start coming apart. Yeah, that's come together quite nicely, and so has that. So it's just this situation down here. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like that would look good up in there. It would. So we're going to put that up there. Yeah, I like that. That's looking good. So we just need to figure out down here. Things that we're not fixed on are all of these things. This is where we start. And I do quite like this one coming out from over here. I think that works. And then this flower just closing up all that gap I think works too. And then it's just whether we want to use the bright surfboard or not. See, we've got the bright green there and the bright green there. We don't have any bright green over here. Maybe that could just be like a little leaf sticking out. Don't want to cut it and regret it though. So if we say that's going to stay over there, then we've just got our paddles. So either they kind of come either side, like you would see them. I don't know if this was a crest or something. I don't like that. Do I like them the other way up? More, but still not really. I think we're going to end up just with these on here, something like that. Okay, that's what I'm going to do, because don't let perfection be the enemy of done. So we're going to pop you under here, kind of curling around. So we sort of had like one there, and then one like that. And we've got our flower. We just want to fill up the whole. Yeah, I like covering up the bottom of the surfboard. Very square edge that we purposely left up in case we wanted to tuck anything under. So we have technically ended up with 4 embellishment clusters, but I kind of think to the eye this all merges together, so I think that's going to be okay. I'll see what I think once everything is done. And then we said we were just going to decide that this was going to be a leaf rather than a surfboard. I'm just going to snip some off, and then we'll put some glue in under that corner, and hopefully that will work. Give us that little bit of the bright green, drawing our eye the whole way across now. I think we're going to call that done. So I'm going to go for these yellowy ones for the centre of the flowers. I was considering putting a yellow one in here, but now I don't think I like it. So that's maybe what we could do. We could put a tiny one on the life jacket like it's a little badge. And then I've got these clear yellow, but they've got like little bits of tinsel in them, so they do sparkle really nicely. And I'm just going to scatter a few of those around. I've added the journaling, and so now we are finished. Here is the end of Everyday Adventure, which documents our time at my cousin's lake house in upstate New York. I'll pick them up so you can see the sparkles. And this side as well. I'm really pleased with how that's all come out. Hope you are too. If you've enjoyed it, give it a like. I'd love it if you would think about subscribing and follow along, because next up will be Project 3 from the Exploring Nature set, and then we'll be heading on to the bonus layout with whatever scraps I have left. Thanks for watching. Come back and see me again. Bye bye.